What do we focus on? We focus on the passenger, on the airlines, and on the airport. And we're trying to figure out, kind of be the grease between those wheels to facilitate a conversation on behalf of the passenger, working with the airlines in a way that the airport cannot do. So that's really what the Air Alliance is. We are a private sector group, as I mentioned, not for profit. So what were the initiatives, the particular initiatives that we set out to achieve? And these are really pretty much in order of what we felt we could actually accomplish. And this was back in 2009 when we put these target goals together. You'll see the last one, I'll take you there first, is attract a low-cost carrier. Well, we were in fact able to do that much more quickly than we anticipated with the attraction of AirTran into the marketplace. But when we started this effort in 2009, it was pretty clear that to us at that point that was going to be not an easy exercise, and that the decision to do that was outside of our control. We could do our best to pitch it, but we couldn't make that decision. So our view was, what can we do to do steps that we can control and work with those? So we focused on passenger service quality, operational performance, measuring the performance of Gerald Ford. How are they doing operationally? They've not benchmarked themselves historically compared to other airports. If we're going to be investing in them, this is typical West Michigan thinking, right? If we're going to be investing in them, we want to make sure that they're handling themselves well, and that they're efficient and effective at what they do, and that they measure up. So we wanted to make sure that we had some third-party benchmarks to say, look, if we're going to invest in you, doggone it, we want you to handle yourselves well and be best in class operationally. We want to do some economic analysis to understand the economics and measure, the first word, measure, what the effects are of what we've been able to do, and get some solid measurement of that, so we could try to find some way to value this air service and what it means to our communities. We wanted to work with legacy carriers, the existing carriers that serve the marketplace. And I'll show you what those are, break out some terms for you in a moment. We wanted to work with legacy carriers. And then we also said, maybe someday we'll be able to attract a low-cost carrier to the market. Southwest had already rejected us a few different times. We'd been bounced to, JetBlue wouldn't return our calls. ATA was in business and they went bankrupt years ago. I mean, there's just been a series of sort of disappointments in that area for us historically. So we thought maybe we can get there. Well, fortunately, we were able to get there with AirTran. So this is just a quick summary of what we've done in this area since now the first quarter of 2010. Over a year, we've been doing passenger surveys. We're measuring and benchmarking the service and the passenger experience at Gerald Ford to make sure that it measures up. We do compare very favorably. We provide that information to the airport to help guide their decisions on how they conduct their business. Airports are not utilities any longer. Airports are hospitality destinations. Airports need to be attractive. If you're going to get somebody to go through an airport, you don't want to insult them first. You want to make it an attractive and friendly experience. The new parking at Gerald Ford has made it a much more attractive experience. So parking is convenient, reasonably priced. It's clean, it's tidy, it's efficient. There's a number of different measures that we're doing, and we're checking and saying, well, other than just sort of saying how many on-time arrivals or departures you have, what we're really looking at is saying, what's the passenger experience? Trying to make sure the passenger experience is as strong as we can make it, so that West Michigan people can enjoy that. But let's look at the other side, so that our guests, those who come to see us, to visit us as family and friends, or to come here to look at possibly sourcing product from one of our local manufacturers, possibly locating or relocating their business here. We want the first impression of our community of West Michigan when they arrive to be a strong one. We want them to feel very special. So we think this is an important piece. Operational performance. This is very clear. We want to make sure that they're efficient. We're benchmarking now, measuring all sorts of operational dimensions and comparing to a global set of competitive airports. The economic analysis is underway, Anderson Economic Group. You'll see the consultants on the bottom. You note those are global consultants. So this is a global set. We're using a Lansing-based firm for the economic analysis, which is much more local. Who are the legacy carriers? I mentioned these terms. These are the legacy carriers, and they're primarily They offer hub and spoke connections. They do a lot of business travel, and there's a lot of international travel. Interestingly, in the course of doing this, we've discovered that Gerald Ford has more international lift than the average airport our size. We're very important to the legacy carriers because we have an enormous number of companies that are doing business internationally, at least comparative to other airports and other communities. And so the international piece is very important to the legacy carriers that are coming in and out of here. But that's when we talk about legacy carriers, who they are. Low-cost carriers, that's who the low-cost carriers are. This is the subset. As you're aware, AirTran came to us as a low-cost carrier and helped to really change the game at Gerald Ford. They were acquired subsequently by Southwest, and so we backed and Southwest has now agreed to stay and continue to provide service. So we backdoored our way into Southwest service, coming into Gerald Ford. I was sitting getting ready on the departure end of the runway, waiting my turn, and all of a sudden I heard on the radio that Southwest flight getting cleared for landing, and I said, "Not this soon! I can't imagine they made it this fast." No, there was a diversion from Chicago, but it got my heart going.